Hello there, it's Jackie Bolhuis from Klompen Stampers. Today I have part 2 in my little mini series, we'll call it, that's all about the brand new Stampin Cut and Emboss Machine. I had to double check because I want to say Emboss and Cut, but it's Stampin Cut and Emboss Machine. It's the brand new die cutting machine and embossing machine from Stampin Up. Now the other day I did part 1, and part 1 was all about using embossing folders. Today, it's all about cutting with dies and using this brand new machine. Although I have a ton of tips to share with you, even if you're not interested in this machine, but you use dies, we're going to talk about an easy way to adhere dies, especially those really detailed ones, an easy way to get all the parts and pieces when you're out, when you die cut. We're going to review embossing just because the card I have for you today is gorgeous, by the way, but it does use some embossing as well. So we'll talk about embossing once again. And I actually have my big shot plates here too. I'm going to, when I did the embossing, I really just showed you the new plates. Today I'm going to show you how to adapt to the big shot if that's what you have. And then of course we have a great card to share with you. So let's flip this camera down. Let's get started because there's so much I want to share with you today. And the video is going to be filled with all kinds of tips. So make sure you watch all the way to the end. So let's flip it down. Let's get started. Are you ready to learn lots of things? You might even want to take some notes in this video because I have so many tips to share with you, or just keep coming back and starting and stopping it to pick up on all the tips. But we are using the Blossoms and Bloom bundle for this card today because I really wanted to feature the die cutting and show you how to use the new Stampin' Cut Emboss machine with your dies. Now remember, Stampin' Up dies are able to be used in any kind of die cutting machine. So I am just going to share with you the brand new machine because I know a lot of you have either already purchased it or you're looking to buy a new machine, and I love this new one. But if you have a big shot or you have another die cutting machine, you certainly can use these dies in those. You're just going to have to figure out what those sandwiches are, okay? Because I'm not sure how to, use plates in different machines. So what we're going to do today is start out with doing some die cutting, and then I want to show you a tip for adhering detailed dies, because I know some of you struggle when they're super detailed. Where do you put your adhesive? So that'll be kind of the first thing we talk about as we progress through making this card. So let's grab our machine. Okay, I've got it already opened up here. You know what? I like my handle on that side. The beauty of this, remember, right-handed, left-handed, whatever side you like your handle on, you can do that. But we're going to talk about the plates for die cutting. Now, we talked about plates in the last video, and I super duper love that they're numbered. So if you're using dies, okay, which is what we have right here, we look right on here, and it talks up at the top, using with thin dies. These are considered thin dies. So we have plate 1, there's number 1, and then we put on plate 2, and it's cool they even have this right there as well, and then we need 2 of our number 3s along with our dies. So exact same thing that you guys did with your big shot. So let's go ahead and sit this in here. We've got 1 and then we've got 2. Now a little tip with these clear plates, since we're using 3, I and this is just a personal preference of mine, I like to always use the same one on the bottom, and then when this one really gets worn out, then I'll go ahead and put this on the bottom and get another clear one. Instead of using both for the top and the bottom and getting them both all cut up, I kind of rotate that way. Another tip with these plates, you want to rotate them and put them in this way, that way, this way, that way. So you can feel I got cutting on both sides, but that will help your plates from warping and help them to last longer. So we got 1, 2, 3. We'll put 3 down, and then we're going to go ahead and put our cardstock with our die on top of it. Oh, I hope I have a big enough piece. You know what, I might, oh, there, it just fits. So we put our die on there, and then we put another plate on top. Super simple, and then we can go ahead and just use our handle and send it through. Sorry, my table's shaky, and it slides on this table. My other table, there's little grippies on there, and it sticks to, but this one, it slides. So let's go ahead, pull that out, and you will see after you've run that through, okay, a lot of the pieces are going to come right through. This new machine cuts amazing with the old Big Shot, we use what was called a precision plate to kind of help it to get cut better, but I really found I don't need it on this one. And if it's a super detailed die, you can even run it, you know, forward and backward, and then it cuts even more so if that die's not cutting good. But then I like to use, I think they call this the die cutting brush. This is the take your pick tool. It's an accessory you can add to it. So you get the foam plate and the brush. And if you run this across, this really helps you just get all of that falling out. Now, warning, you get a mess. You get pieces of little cardstock everywhere. But I'll use this to get as many out as I can. You can even flip it upside down, pieces flying everywhere. And then I like to use the pokey end, and anything that remains, I just go through and see how easy it is to poke it. And again, I'm kind of doing that on this pad down here. Then I'm not, you know, I don't have to worry about poking through and hurting anything underneath. So we just, but see how easy they come out? This one has so many pieces. Now, as I finish this one up, then, there we go, I think we got it all. What we'll do is just brush our pieces out of the way. And this particular die now has the detailed part. So what I'm gonna do is do this one in white. So let's bring our machine back. And this way we get to review our little sandwich. We got plate 1, plate 2, plate 3, but I'm gonna just flip it. We're gonna use the other side of it. And then I can go ahead, stick this here, get it all to fit. Grab my other plate 3. I'm gonna turn this so maybe I won't shake our table as bad here. We're gonna do that one. Now, like I said, if you want to just ensure that it even cuts a little bit more, and sometimes I do this, especially on these really detailed ones, so we know we're gonna have even more pieces, just run it forward and then backward. Oops, not all the way out. There we go. And now we're gonna get more pieces. Look, they're falling out even as I pick that up. Now you can even keep that die in there to brush it if you have to get it loose that way. Now sometimes, especially when you go twice and you have these little ridges, I just use a little pokey end here to get it started. And then we're gonna just carefully lift it up. Because of running it through twice, it tends to stick in there just a little bit more. But look at how everything falls through. So I got very few pieces to poke out of here. So let's just do that a second. Now again, remember, if you have the Big Shot, the sandwich is basically the same. That one didn't look like it came out. Let's see if we can get it out. I don't want to, there we go. You got to be super careful with these really detailed ones because you don't want to rip them. But no, what I was saying with the Big Shot, your sandwich is going to be basically the same with your dies. And then again, other machines, if you have a different machine that takes thin dies, that I can't help you with the sandwich because I'm not familiar with those. So, but like I said, this brand new machine, if you are looking for a die cutting machine, you will love this one. I love the ease. Everything goes through it, super easy. It cuts fabulous. There's great pressure on it, which sometimes if you get a die and you run it, and I know I had this with my Big Shot, there was certain spots that didn't cut very good. And you know what, let's just get the rest of these pieces out. I feel like I'm trying to talk and poke at the same time and it's not working very good. There we go. I think we have them all out now. So let's go ahead. And again, we're going to clean up our mess. You guys should see the mess we have here. We're just going to push it all to the side. So I have these two pieces now that need to be adhered together like so. Oops, I see seems like every time I lay it on there, I find another one. I have found the easiest way to do this, and my preferred way, is to use the silicone craft sheet, a piece of a sponge, and my liquid adhesive. Now, this sponge, I've used it over and over. It's a little bit tacky. I take a sponge, I cut it into quarters, and I'll use a piece until it just gets too icky and you don't want to use it anymore. Some people keep it in a container and this and that. You know what? I don't do any of that. I just set it aside. The glue dries. It's good to use again. Now, we're doing things a little backwards here because if I tilt this, can you see the shine on there? Can you see all the glue on there? That's from when I made my first sample. I wanted to leave it on there to show you once this glue dries, okay, all you need to do is take your finger and it rubs right off. So you can clean your pad this way. You have to just kind of let it dry and it comes off. So, but I wanted to show that to you. So that's my old glue, and then you'll see as I put new glue on it. Rub it off, we're ready to go. Now, what I'm going to do is take my liquid adhesive and I'm going to just squirt a pile on there, like so. And then since the white is the one we're sticking onto the magenta one there, we're gonna flip it upside down, take my sponge, you know, kind of dab that glue around so we get it nice and spread out and light on there. And then I am just going to dab all over my piece here. You wanna work kind of fast because with not much glue, it's gonna dry really fast. The trick kind of is don't move this white piece as you're dabbing it, because then you're gonna move it into the glue. And then we're gonna go ahead and, ooh, gotta make sure you have it the right, there we go. The nice thing again about this glue, and I've said this with all my cards, is you can kind of slide it around. So all I'm doing is matching up sort of where they go and then press it down. There we go. That is how easy it is to put a detailed die down. Now, sometimes you're not layering your dies, but you just have a really detailed one or a skinny word or letters. This is a great way to adhere them down there. So that is that tip. Now let's go ahead and grab the other pieces to the card. I have another piece of Whisper White here. Now, I will have all the measurements for this card as well as pictures of it over on my website. So if you like the card recipe, which really means all the dimensions, I'll have the link down in the video description for you. So you can just hop over there and find the list of all the supplies I use and all of my measurements. So before I put my card together, I want to emboss this using the embossing folder. It's called Subtle. This is one of my favorites. Use this all the time. So this part's a little bit of a review, because when we look on here with the 3D embossing folders, we're going to use number 1, and then we're going to use our embossing folder with our cardstock in it, and then we're going to use plate number 4. And that's how it goes through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Now, Big Shot users, because I know there's a lot of you out there, so I have my Big Shot platform here. With the Big Shot, it's the same thing. It's the platform. These two platforms are the same, so we're going to put it there. However, with the Big Shot, if you did not get the blue embossing plate that they had before, and you only have the clear plates, you're gonna have to put a shim on top of here. You need a little bit more thickness, okay? You can put on a couple layers of cardstock, the backing from a package of Designer Series paper works, but you'll find if you try to run this through, it doesn't emboss. You need a little bit thicker. If you're forcing it and it's too thick to go through and you really are trying to crank that handle and force it, then it's too thick, okay? Another thing that works really good when there's not wet adhesive on it is you can put the craft sheet on here too and run it through. That's worked really well for me as a shim. Now, some of you bought the blue plate, so you're good to go. Now, here is the beauty. If you don't have the blue plate, you can purchase plate number 4. This one's available all by itself, and this is like the blue plate. So with Big Shot, platform, 3D embossing folder, and plate 4, and you're good to go in your Big Shot. Whew, lots of information there. So let's get the right plates going here. So we have 1, this, and 4. And let me run this through the Big Shot for you. Let me run this. 1, so we have 1, our folder, make sure you put the folded side to go in first, and then plate 4. So let me run this through the cut and emboss machine. I'll be right back. There we go. So let's take that piece out of there, put all of that aside, and let's just finish up our card. So I have a piece of basic gray here. This is my card base. And then a piece of, I believe it's smoky slate. And we're gonna put some of that lovely liquid adhesive onto our Whisper White and stick that onto that layer. So our card is actually super simple here. We're gonna just layer this. Love these colors, love that. And then we have got this little guy that's going to go on, and it just fits. We're gonna go on like so. Now, you have the option here. You can use a little sponge to put adhesive on the back of this as well. My preference though, because my pieces are bigger, I think it's just as quick and easy to go ahead with this liquid adhesive and put little tiny dabs out on all these thick places. So again, not too much. You can see how teeny tiny my dots are, okay? Because we don't want any of it seeping out, because that kind of makes a icky mess. So, but you can control this with just, I mean, I'm barely squeezing it, and you can see how little those dots are. And then we'll go ahead and let's see, do I have it? There we go. I never know, which way should this go? Should it go that way? That way. Looks more like it should go that way, right? I don't know that it matters. And then press it down good. You know, when I'm gluing little things, sometimes I just go upside down and rub on the back like that, get it sealed down. And look at how pretty that is. Now, we haven't done any stamping. Okay, those are the dies that coordinate with this, and there's all different ways. You can stamp it and cut it, and we're going to do other videos showing you how to use the two together. But I just wanted to pull the words. So I took the happy birthday, and I already embossed this. I am going to, coming up here in my beginner card making series, do another video just showing you embossing, so you can watch for that. Especially those of you that are new card makers. I've been doing a card making for beginners series, so you go back and check those out if you're looking for some basics. Mini dimensionals. My hands are just too big to grab these, so again, I like to use the pokey end of that take your pick tool. They pick up lovely, and they even help you take the backs off of them if you need to. I just poke in and pick it up. Let's see, get that off. And then we're gonna just take this, and we can put it really just about any place. But look at how that black pops. And there's our card. So, phew, we made it through the card. Again, the intent of this video was primarily to show you die cutting with the new Stampin' Cut and Emboss, and how easy it is to determine your sandwiches with the numbers on our plates, as well as a reminder on how to emboss and how to just go ahead and move this on over to the Big Shot if you already have the Big Shot. So any questions, make sure to reach out to me. You can leave me a comment here, or you can email or message me, and I would be happy to answer any of your questions. So once again, this new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine is amazing. If you're looking for a Stampin' Up demonstrator or would like to order one, I would love to be your demonstrator and help you place that order. Again, you can go right to my website and order, or just get a hold of me and I'll help you. So until I stamp with you again, have a stamp happy day.